Hello, welcome to this class. I hope our learning has been fun and we've been learning well and mastering every concept that has already been taught. So today we will be looking at fractions. Yes, today our topic of our content or the topic we are to discuss is fractions. Now, what are fractions? You simply tell me that a fraction is a part of a whole. A fraction is a part of a whole. I know this is not the first time we are hearing about fraction. So therefore, we can easily identify the different types of fraction, like the proper fraction, which says that a proper fraction is a fraction whose numerator is less than the denominator. The improper fraction, a fraction whose numerator is greater than the denominator. The mixed fraction, which is a fraction that is made up of a whole number and a proper fraction. Then decimal fractions, which are fractions whose denominators are either 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, and so on and so forth. So, having said that, fractions. The first thing we need to understand is that fraction means a part of a whole. Fraction is a part of a whole. This simply means that if this is a circle, this is a whole circle, right? Just one circle, this one circle. Now, if I start sharing this circle in this way, in this way, let me shade here. Now, if I pick out this shaded part of this one circle, that shaded part I picked now becomes a fraction of the circle. Okay? So a fraction simply means part of a whole. Now let's look at a fraction, for example, this fraction 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this fraction of this can be written as 1 over 6. Now 1 is called the numerator, while 6 is known as the denominator. So these are parts of a fraction. Okay? Let's look at types of fraction. Okay. Now, there are three major types of fraction: the proper fraction, the mixed fraction, and the improper fraction. Three major types of fraction: proper fraction, mixed fractions, and what? Improper fraction. So let's look at it. Number one, proper. Proper fraction. A proper fraction is a fraction whose numerator is greater than the denominator. Examples: we have 1 over 2, 19 over 27, 15 over 107, etc. Now, if you observe, you notice that in these examples, the numbers up, which are the numerators, are less than the number down. Whose numerator is, sorry, less than. This numerator is less than the denominator. The second type of fraction is the improper fraction. An improper fraction is a fraction whose numerator is greater than the denominator. Examples: 3 over 2, 5 over 3, 100 over 57, and so on and so forth. The third type is the mixed fraction. So like I said, a mixed fraction is a fraction that consists of a whole number and a proper fraction. So I can say that it consists of a whole number, and a proper fraction. It consists of a whole number and a proper fraction. Examples: 2.5, which is 2 whole number 1 over 2. 12 and 1/5, which is 2 whole number 1 over 5. 12 whole number 1 over 5. 13 and 13 whole number 3 over 5, etc. These are the different types of fraction. Now, let's look at how to convert from improper fraction to mixed fraction and vice versa. We are now going to learn how to change from improper fraction to mixed fraction and change from proper fraction, mixed fraction back to improper fraction. Okay? So let's say conversion of fractions. Now the first one we are going to look at is improper to mixed fraction. Here we want to look at how to change from improper fraction to mixed fraction. Now, in changing from improper fraction to mixed fraction is simple. Remember, fraction and division is same thing. Okay? Now, what we do is, suppose we have this number, let's say 6 over 4. We know that when 6 is being divided by 4, it will give us 1, but we will have a remainder of 2. Okay? 6 divided by 4 is 1 remainder 2. Now, this is an improper fraction that we've divided that gave us a quotient. 1 is a quotient, 2 is what? A remainder. While 4 is our what? Denominator. Okay? So whenever we divide and we will get a quotient and a remainder, the formula for now changing this improper fraction to mixed fraction is now quotient. Our quotient will become the whole number. Our remainder will become the numerator, while our divider takes, while our denominator remains the denominator. So to express 6 over 4 in mixed fraction, it will now become, what is the quotient? 1. What is the remainder? 2. What is the denominator? 4. So this now gives us this answer to be 1 whole number 2 over 4. I see it. I see it. Good. So this is how to change or express improper fractions to mixed fraction. Okay? So let's solve some examples. Example. Change the following. The following improper fractions. Following improper fractions to mixed fraction. Number 1. Let's say we have 3 over 2. So to solve this, we simply divide 3 by 2 and find the quotient and the remainder. Now 3 divided by 2 is what? 1. Remainder 1. Therefore, 3 over 2 is the same thing as 1 whole number 1 over 2. Quotient whole number, remainder over 2. Let's look at this. Let's say I have 19 over 8. Okay? So the same thing. What we do is we find our quotient and our remainder by dividing 19 by 8. And when we do that, we will notice that 19 divided by 8 is 2 remainder 3. Because 2 times 8 is 16, and 16 plus 3 is 19. Now, therefore, we can say that 19 over 8 equals 2 whole number 3 over 8. So we have expressed it as a mixed fraction. Finally, in number 3, let's say we have 27 divided by 2. Solution. Here we have 27 divided by 2. Same thing, we divide 27 by 2 to get the quotient and the remainder. Then once we've obtained the quotient and the remainder, we now express it as a quotient whole number, remainder over denominator. I see it. So let's do that. 27 divided by 2 is equal to 13 remainder 1. Because 13 times 2 is 26. Therefore, 27 over 2 equals 13 whole number 1 over 2. Now, to always check if your solving is correct, you can simply change this back to improper fraction. And that's the next thing we are going to learn. How to convert from mixed fraction to improper fraction. So let's look at it. mixed to improper fraction. Now, remember that mixed fraction is quotient whole number, remainder over divisor or denominator. Now, to express this back to improper fraction, it will now become denominator times quotient plus remainder all over denominator. So you simply use the denominator to multiply the quotient, add the remainder all over what? The denominator. So let's have some examples. Express the following mixed fractions. As improper fractions. Number one. Okay, I will use this to check. Let's say we have here 2 whole number 3 over 8. Solution. 2 whole number 3 over 8. Remember that to change to improper fraction has a formula. Denominator times quotient plus remainder all over denominator. So this will now become equal to denominator times quotient is what? 8 is the denominator times 2, which is the quotient, plus 3, which is the remainder, all over 8, which is the denominator. 8 times 2, 16, plus 3 over 8. 16 plus 3, 19 over 8, improper. So you see we are correct. Number 2 examples, let's say we have 5 whole number 4 over 7. Solution. So it's just the same thing. 5 whole number 4 over 7. We simply multiply 7 times 5 plus 4. 7 times 5 plus 4 all over 7, which is the denominator. And this is 7 times 5, 35, plus 4 over 7. 35 plus 4, 39, all over 7. And you see, this is how to express fractions from mixed back to improper and from improper to mixed fraction. Okay? All right. All right. Now let's look at how to express fractions in their lowest term. Expressing fractions in their lowest term. When we look at a fraction like 2 over 3, Do you think that this is in its lowest term? Yes. What made it to be in its lowest term? Because at this point, nothing can divide. Okay? There is nothing that can divide 2 or divide 3. They don't have common factor. Okay? But when a fraction is expressed in this form, let's say 8 over 10, you notice that 8 and 10 has a common factor. Example 2. 2 is a common factor of 8 and 10. And for this particular instance, that's the only common factor. So at this point, we can reduce this by dividing 8 by 2 to have 4, dividing 10 by 2 to have 5. Now we have 4 over 5. Now, 4 over 5, nothing again can divide the two numbers. So we cannot say that we have expressed 8 over 10 to its lowest term, 4 over 5. Okay? Now, to express a fraction, in its lowest term is simple. And there are methods you can apply. The first method to apply is to find a common factor for the two numbers. That's for the number in the up and the number below. Okay? So when you get a common factor, you use the common factor to divide up and divide down. You keep on doing that till you get to a point where nothing else can divide. Secondly, you can decide to find the PPF of the numerator and the PPF of the denominator. Once you express them as product of their prime factors, you can now easily cancel out the common factors there, and the remaining one will become your answer. Thirdly, you can simply get the HCF of the numerator and the denominator and divide the number by the HCF, and that gives you the lowest form of the given fraction. So let's look at some examples. Okay? Example. Express the following. In its lowest term. Number 1. Let's say I have 12 over 20. Solution. 12 over 24. Like I said, we can start looking for numbers that can divide 12 and 24. We keep on dividing till we get to final answer. We can still employ the method of using just prime numbers to keep on dividing 24 till we get to the last one. Okay? Or we simply express 12 and 24 as product of their prime numbers. Let's do that. Solution. So I'm just using here as a rough 24, 2, 6, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 12, 2, 6, 2, 3, 3, 1. Meaning that 12 is the same thing as what? 2 times 2 times 3. All over 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. Okay? You notice what we did? We simply express the numerator and the denominator as product of their prime factors. So I can remove this. Now, at this point, you will notice that 2 can cancel these 2. These 2 will cancel these 2. These 3 will cancel these 3. So, this is 2 divide 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So, therefore, here you now notice that this is now 1 times 1 times 1. 1 over 1 times 1 times 2 times 1, 2. Meaning that the lowest form of 12 over 24 is 1 over 2. The lowest form of 12 over 24 is 1 over 2. Let's look at another example. Let's say we have 12 over 36, for instance. Solution. 12 over 36. We already know that the product of prime factors of 12 is 2 times 2 times 3. Now 36, let's find it. 36, 2, 18, 2, 9, 3, 3, 3, 1. So 36 is 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. So let's go. These two, we divide these two. This will go. These three will go. So what's left? 1 and 3. So our answer is 1 over 3. Okay? Now the same thing, I said I gave us two basic approach. You can use this method of expressing them as product of prime factors, or you simply find the highest common factor, that's HCF of the two numbers. The HCF of 12 and 24 is what? 12. So you notice that when we now have 12 over 24, it will be, what we now do is 12 divided by 12 over 24 divided by 24. Sorry, over 24 divided by 12. 12 divided 12 is what? 1. 12 divided 24 is what? 2. So this is method 2. You can find the HCF of the two numbers and divide the two numbers by their HCF. If you don't believe that 12 is the HCF of 12 and 24, let's find the HCF. 12, 24. 2. I'm using method 2. 6, 12, 2, 3, 6, 2 cannot go, 3, 1, 2, nothing again can go. 2 times 2, 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay? The same thing, we can find the HCF of 12 and 36. 2 here, 6, 18. 2 here, 3, 9. 3 here, 1, 3. It's gone, right? So the HCF here is also what? 12. Then, if we now do 12 divided by 12 over 36 divided by 12. 12 divided 12, 1. 36 divided by 12, 3. So you see, you can use either of the method. Express it as PPF or find the HCF of the denominator and the numerator and divide the numerator and the denominator by the HCF or with the HCF. Alright? So this is how to express fractions in their lowest term as easy as ABC. Alright? So we have so much other things to learn in fractions. We still have to learn about equivalent fractions and how to order fractions in ascending and descending order, then addition and subtraction of fractions, multiplication and division of fractions. But for today, we will stop at this point of expressing fractions in their lowest term. So I'll see you in our next class. Bye.